Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents and Conversations Live with you, joining us via our podcast at Max WYED 94.1 FM and WYEDonline.com. Also, those tuning in, of course, through social media, we're glad you all could be with us as well. Have an exciting show that's coming up for you guys today, and a big announcement I'm excited about. That's to do with our guest that's joining us today. We're going to go ahead and bring in our Amazon audience to the conversation as well. And we want to welcome our Amazon audience to Cyrus Webb Presents. Glad you all could be with us. If you guys are new to us on Amazon, welcome. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You see it here in this corner or down below. You also will see the best-selling book by our next guest. I'm really excited to welcome Ally Dalsimer to our broadcast today. Ally is someone I interviewed on Conversations Live, the radio show, when her book first came out. Now we're excited to be able to have her here with us on Amazon Live to discuss the book. Also, a brand new series that we're going to be discussing as well. I want you guys to get a close-up view of it there. It's okay not to be fabulous every day. We're going to talk to Ally not only about the message of the book, but what's been like for her to see the way it's resonating with others and what we hope in 2025 the book does for you as well. Ally, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Cyrus. I'm excited to be here and excited for our time together.
Well, the pleasure is definitely all mine. I want to say hello to you already coming in on Instagram. Big Sleep Rich, hello to you. Melvina Gray, hello to you on Instagram. On Tall Production, good to be able to see you. Stephen Cinema, hello to you as well. Ally, I'm so excited to be working with you on not only sharing the book with the world, but also in sharing your message. And it was so great to have you on the radio show initially to be able to talk about the book when you first released it. But what has it been like for you to see the way that people are responding to the book and your message in the book?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I've been a little bit surprised and at first overwhelmed by how well the book was received, and it was it was a little unexpected. You and I had talked a while ago, and when I said, when I first put the book out, I thought, well, whatever, we'll see what happens. And I've had really positive and amazing feedback, enough so that I did go back, revise the book, add an introduction, add some bonus materials, and republish it as an updated version, which is a little bit more robust. And I'm glad I did, because I've had great feedback from that as well. And actually, people are asking me to do a second book, so that's great.
Hey, well, look, that is a great sign for sure. Hello to you, Melissa. Melissa's joining us over there on Facebook. Glad you could join us as well. If you guys have any questions or comments for Ally, put those in the chat. I'll be monitoring those as well. And what I think is so great about this book, Ally, which is why I'm so glad we're doing this series we're going to be announcing later, is that I think men and women will be able to take something from this book. I know I did for myself personally. When you were first writing it, though, could you have imagined that it would have the wide audience that it's kind of garnered for itself?
No, I really didn't. And I talk about this a little bit in the intro. I really intended this as something that only my kids would see. And due to life and circumstances and encouragement from my kids and from the friends that they showed it to, I ended up putting it out there. I thought it would speak to younger people who are going. The book deals with situations for people who are going through what I call the inflection points of life, those periods of change and trauma that we all face. Yeah. But I thought it would be mostly directed towards, kids who are leaving home or getting their first job or going to school, and then to women who were having those kids leave and who were maybe finding themselves newly widowed or divorced, or, women in sort of that middle-age group. And as it's turned out, it really has had a much broader appeal, because, as you mentioned, we all go through these things, and I feel very glad that you found something in it personally to help you as well, because hopefully there's something in there for anybody. I think if someone's having the absolute perfect life, like they have the absolute perfect life, they have no problems, they love who they are, where they are, who they're with, and wouldn't change a thing about their lives, my book's not going to speak to them. For the rest of us, for the other 99% of us, hopefully there's a nugget in there for you.
Yeah, I love that. We have some other members of the CMG family with us. Chanel says hello to you, Ally.
Hey, Chanel.
over on Facebook. You guys had a great interview together as well. Dr. Bamber,
Yeah.
hello to you. Good to see you over there. Early for you over there on the West Coast. We're glad you could join us live here on Facebook as well. Ellen Sutters, hello to you. I see you over there on IG as well. And that brings us to the title of the book. And this is what initially resonated with me. And I have to give a personal shout out to our mutual friend, Robert Blake Whitehill, who I've known for a long time. And he was the one who introduced me to you initially, Ellie. So shout out to you, Robert. Thank you so much for the introduction. But the title of this book, It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day. I think anyone, Allie, honestly, who is on social media will find something about this book. Because I think what happens, and I've been accused of this myself, I have to be honest with you, that, people see what we post, and a lot of times it seems very curated, that, it's only like the highlight reel of what our lives are like. And a lot of people judge themselves by that and say, well, my life doesn't look like that, so I must be doing something wrong. There must be something wrong with me. I love the fact that you almost give us permission to admit, no matter who we are, that it's okay not to feel your best every day. Talk to us about what that title means for you personally.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually came up with the title when I woke up one day and it was just having a really dark day, a really rough day. And I talk about it in the book as the genesis, but it was raining outside and it was gray and my kids were gone and my mom had passed. And I just felt very alone and lonely and I was lacking purpose. And honestly, if I hadn't had to feed the cat, I don't know if I would have gotten out of bed. And I just decided to reframe my day and move the benchmark a little lower. And I really realized that I even said, I was like, this is just not a fabulous day. And then I realized later that night, it's okay. Like, I don't have to be fabulous every day. It's okay not to be fabulous every day, even though on the inside, I really believe what I call, the inner fabulosity is there within each of us. But we also need times to grace ourselves a little kindness, a little self-love, a little self-pampering. We have to allow ourselves time to wallow a bit, regroup, and then we can move on.
Such a great place. Great thing. I want to say hello to Studio Place LA, and definitely know our thoughts and prayers are with you guys over there in Los Angeles, Studio Place. I'm glad that you could join us. Hope all is safe with you, as well as with your family as well. I want to share something from the book, Allie, and I love this message, and it's one of the ones I made a note of. It's on page 37 for those who have the print edition of the book. Just do it is how you frame it, but you write this. Just do it. So easy, so simple, except for that doing part of the phrase. Personally, I believe the journey of 1,000 miles begins not with taking the first step, but with mustering the energy, drive, and commitment to take that step, to choose to progress through and into our future lives. I want to talk about that because as we are now, it's hard to believe, almost in the middle of the first months of 2025. And a lot of people are already saying, you know what? I'll probably wait till the summer, or next year. They already are giving up because of something that may have happened. What has helped you not to be defined, Allie, by just one incident, one situation, or one feeling? What has helped you to keep going in spite of that thing that may be stopping you?
For me, it's my kids. But I'd like to address what's behind that question, if that's okay.
Sure.
Because I don't know if you get my newsletter, Cyrus, but my last newsletter, I focused on manifesting and briefly talked about, and the neuroscience behind it. But I briefly talked about how, a huge number of people make New Year's resolutions, but the vast majority of those people are under the age of 30. And then as we grow older, less and less of us make resolutions. And of the people who do make resolutions, especially those under 30, 80% truly believe they are going to keep them, but only 20% of them do, which is probably why we just stop bothering making those resolutions. But the reality is that if you have resolved that you want to achieve something, and if you truly want to achieve it, you're not going to give up. So then the question is that really something you want to do?
Yeah.
You know, is it really your resolution? Is it really important to you? Because if it's not, then find what is. And I think we do too little inner reflection. I think we need to spend more time turning inward and thinking about what it is we want in our lives, not what other people want us to do or want for us, but
Yeah.
what do we want to do? And I think that if we do that, it's easier to move ahead. Not to say we won't struggle, because we absolutely will. You
Right.
know, we all have those bumps that we hit on the road of life. And you know, the subtitle of my book is A Journey to Self-Discovery, right? Because it's a process to find what it is that you want in life and what it is that you want to be and become in life. And for me, um, I feel like it's a never-ending journey because, you know, we change and life changes. So it's not something that it's a one and done and you stop. But for me, when I'm feeling um, sidestepped or discouraged or just having a day where I'm just not feeling so fabulous, I lean on my kids. And in fact, this is I swear to God, this is a true story.
Mhm.
I had a little bit, if you follow me a little bit on social media, whatever you know, but I had a rough early December. Like the end of November, early December was just rough for me. Especially, actually, it was mostly the end of November. Just a lot going on. And I was talking to my son one day, and I was like, "Ah, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. I'm behind on this, and I know this is going wrong, and blah blah blah, going on." And he said, Mama, you don't have to be fabulous every day. And I busted out laughing because I was like, right, I don't. And so, you know, I think we are too hard on ourselves, and we have to grace ourselves a little leeway on some days, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You would go on to say hello to you, to make it good way to see you as well. She says hello to you as well, Ally. Chanel says everyone can benefit from this book. We are all experiencing some sort of transition. Such a good point. You make this point actually in the same chapter, Ally. I want to read a bit of that. You say, when we find ourselves trying to complete particular tasks without success, and as much as we're able, let's listen to the universe and shift gears. Listen to our inner voice, and gracing ourselves the time and space we need is liberating. It allows us to live harmonious and peace-filled existence, and that's the key to genuine success. I made a note of that because I think for some people, what has happened for them is they've allowed other people, Allie, to determine what is fabulous, what should make you happy, and what is success. How does it feel now to be able to take ownership of that for yourself?
It's empowering. I mean, I think anybody who has finally come to a point in their life where they're like, you know what? No, that's not who I am or what I want to do.
Mhm.
And who has gotten to the point where they're able to say no to people, because saying no is a hard thing, especially for women,
Mhm.
you know, because we're just socialized to take on every burden and every task. And, you know, I mentioned this phrase to someone just yesterday, you know, if you want something done, ask a busy woman. But as a busy woman, it's okay to say no. You
Yeah.
know, it's either you don't want to do it or you don't have time or resources.
Mhm.
And that's okay. And it's very empowering to get to a point where you're like, no, I'm not going to do that because I want to do XYZ. And you
Right.
mentioned, you know, the success. Too many of us define success in terms of monetary acquirements or objects, things in life, you know, the luxury goods that we can afford. But for me, that's not what success is. You know, true success means being deeply, genuinely happy with who you are, where you are, and who you're doing it with. And I think that that's an important mental shift that can benefit all of us.
I totally agree with that, Allie. Hello to you, Chris Collier. Conquer with Chris is joining us over on IG. Ellen says, love this about resolution. She says, I never make them, I just do it. I love that, Ellen. More of us should have that attitude. For those that are just tuning in, welcome. You're watching Cyrus Webb Presents on Amazon Live, but we are simulcasting on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and Instagram. If you're listening to us, welcome. You're joining us on Max WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. Ally Dalsimer is our guest today. We're talking about this book. It's okay not to be fabulous every day. We have a special announcement about a special series that we're going to be doing on Amazon. So make sure you guys stay with us. We don't want you to miss that. And you heard Ally mention her newsletter. We're going to let you guys know you can sign up for that too. Ally, I want to read something else that you wrote. And I think this is a great thing for our audience to consider as they're going throughout this day and this week and
Mhm.
thinking about themselves for the year. It's under the chapter "Time is the most valuable thing a man can spend," and I love that you say this, and I think it's such a great reminder for us about what really matters. And we see it with the horrible destruction that's taking place on the West Coast right now. Of course, here on the East Coast, we're dealing with frigid conditions. Here in the South, even unusually frigid conditions. So everyone's kind of feeling something. But you write this on page 82, because we have the print edition. Life is an accumulation of the individual events and people we encounter. Each can and should enrich and improve us. If a person, place, or thing creates misery or sadness in our lives or turns us into a person we don't like, let's go in a different direction. Let's purge the negative influences from our lives. It might not be easy, but it will be worthwhile. You mentioned earlier that, especially for women, and I think a lot of times, we see this, Ally, that women are kind of expected to be able to say yes to everything, and not to consider themselves. But talk to us about, for yourself, Ally, the importance of doing what I just read there, being able to choose what is in your life and what takes your energy, and being okay with dismissing the things that are not good for you.
Absolutely. I think we spend so much time and energy trying to make people like us, trying to fulfill obligations that we may feel pressured into, and just spending time where we deplete our batteries with people who don't recharge them for us. And we need to minimize the time and energy we spend with what I call the drains in life, and shift that so that we're spending time with people who we can uplift and who will uplift us in return. When you spend time with someone who is just a genuine friend or even an acquaintance who really wants the best for you and you want the best for them, you recharge them, but they recharge you in return. Whereas if you spend time and trying to, be all that with someone who doesn't care about you, or worse, maybe wants to bring you down because they might feel that will elevate them in some way, you feel drained when you're done because you've given everything to them and they've given nothing back. And it's important, I think, to spend time with in symbiotic relationships where you can uplift people and they can uplift you, and you have a community that supports each other, and avoiding those people who are just, they're just takers and they give nothing of themselves back.
Yeah. And I think too, for people to be okay with it, Ally, because again, like you mentioned, for some people there's a guilt in saying no. There's a
Yeah.
guilt in choosing yourself. Chanel and I have had this conversation many times. I remind her about the importance of putting that mask on herself first, make sure she's good before she
Mhm.
can help someone else. Because a lot of times we forget that, or we're made to forget ourselves. Chanel says, excited about the new show. We are as well. But, we're about to talk about it. Dr. Clara says, love that. And she adds, I do encourage people to release negative people, places, and things out of life. So daily you in the positive. Um, However, when the negative comes, remove and release it immediately. I
Yeah.
totally agree with that as well. And so that is why I'm excited about Ally taking this leap with me, because as you can see, there's so much in this book that I think people can be able to take away from it. We can't just talk about in a 25-minute conversation here. So Ally has agreed to be a part of something very special as we're beginning 2025, and that is a brand new series that we're bringing here to Amazon. And she won't be my guest; she will be my co-host for the new series. And the series is called "It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day." So what we're going to do is a 12-week series using Ally's book. Now there are, of course, are more than 12 chapters in the book, but we're going to use this to kind of help you guys to not only start your year off right, but also to be able to kind of guide you through chapter by chapter, so we can actually spend some time being able to talk about the different principles that Ally's able to talk about, get your feedback as well. So we want you all to be a part of this with us. So again, if you have not gotten your book already, if you guys are joining us on the Amazon side, make sure you guys go ahead, order the book. The series is going to start on Friday, February the 7th. That's Friday, February the 7th. As you guys can see, again, the time on there is 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time. Of course, for you guys on the West Coast, it's 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But I hope you guys will join us here. Of course, the replay will be available, but we want you guys to be a part of the conversation. So again, beginning on Friday, February the 7th, we want you to join us for the new series based on Ally's book. Again, the title, It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day. So, Ally, you've had some time since I first asked you about doing this. What is your hope that the series does for our audience?
I really hope that people will learn to embrace their inner fabulosity, that they'll really understand that they are worthwhile and worthy people, and that whatever their goals or ambitions are, that those are worth pursuing, and to never give up, because we do, we have setbacks, and we have times where there are challenges that we face. But as my grandma used to say, this too shall pass. We will get through them. And if you continue to just believe in yourself, and if you can believe that you are worth loving, because I think too many of us don't love ourselves enough. And if we can learn to love ourselves, and the first part of that is in accepting ourselves. And in order to accept ourselves, we have to recognize our own value. So that's what I hope that people take from it, that they can take those first few steps and have an outcome of being a happier person.
Love that. Love that. Totally agree with that. Faith, healing, prayer, patience. I love that name. Hello to you over there on IG. Melissa says, congratulations on the new show. Dr. Clara says, love this, must get the book. She also says, congratulations to you. Ally, I want to say thank you so much for saying yes to this series. I think it's going to be great for audience to not only be able to allow us to deep dive, give them a teaser into the book in these 12 weeks, but also I think to be able to see things they can be able to share with other people. I know for myself as a reader and as someone who just in life likes to share, I think a lot of times I'll hear something like, you know what, I think this is something that this person might really enjoy, or I can share this with this person. And that's why we want to also invite you guys to get a book for a friend, to share the message. You'll be seeing it promoted across the social media platforms. So definitely want you guys to get your copy of the book, but also join us weekly again, beginning on Friday, February the 7th for the series. So you can be a part of this with us and get your questions and comments answered as well. Ally, again, thank you so much for a great conversation as we're kicking off what's going to be an exciting partnership this year. You mentioned your newsletter earlier. Let our audience know how they can stay connected with you and sign up for the newsletter.
Absolutely. Go to my website, allydalsimer.com or allydalsimer.us. There are links to all my socials. You can email me, and you can definitely sign up for my newsletter, and I hope you will. It comes out just twice a month, and you get a bonus material, which is a pamphlet on how to maximize your personal potential, 3 easy steps you can take today. I did also include it as bonus material in the book, but I try to communicate with the folks on my list all the time. They can email me. There's a book recommendation that comes from those folks, and we tackle all kinds of issues as well as author updates. And yeah.
And I had the privilege of being featured by Ally as well in her newsletter. So definitely make sure you guys do sign up for that. Again, your copy of the book is available here on Amazon. Again, It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day. Make sure you guys get your copy of the book. Make plans to join us on Friday, February the 7th. Again, that's at 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the beginning of our series. Again, if you guys are on the Amazon side, make sure you guys do hit that follow button as well. You see it here in this corner or down below. That will keep you notified, not only, of course, on this show that we're starting, but also our other series that we have here on Amazon as well. Ally, thank you again for a great conversation. Really appreciate it. And looking forward to our series starting next month.
Thank you. I am as well, Cyrus. And thank you for mentioning that the best thing people can do is pass on nuggets of kindness to others.
Yeah, that's such a great point.
It's a great thing.
Thank you. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents and Conversations Live. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.